Welcome back to MVGA Podcast. At Make Veterans Great Again, our mission is to reach out to our fellow brothers and sisters in arms to conquer our mental health together. Just a reminder, you are not alone. Today's episode is brought to you by TRC, Total Roofing and Construction, based out of Midwest Illinois and Indiana. Today, I would like to introduce Darina, reiki, and energy, what'd you say?
Spiritual healing mentor,
Spiritual healing mentor and guide. So, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, sorry we didn't have time to talk beforehand, but I appreciate you being here. And how was your trip to Tulum?
Oh my gosh, Tulum is it's a subject on its own. I love it down there. The energy's great. It was awesome. Every time I go down there, I feel like I elevate, feel some more, and it was a great group of people too. So create some great friendships and eat great food. And, yeah, it was awesome.
Okay. Well, now I want to hear your story on how you got to where you are today. So can you tell me what your childhood was like? What was it like growing up for you?
These are big. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I always thought I had a great childhood.
Okay.
I was a happy kid. I was running around outside. I had friends. Did well at school. Both my parents were home. It wasn't until I was 35, 40 where I realized that there were some issues when I was little. I created patterns that now I deal with, and there's some fears that I have now that I know were created when I was a child. So looking back, of course my parents did what they could, with who they were at the time, and they definitely took care of me greatly. But there was traumas that we like to forget, that we like to push away. It's not until you decide to heal yourself and you go back there and you actually find out, okay, this is why I act this way. This is why I have this fear, why I have this anxiety, because when I was little, when I was 3, when I was 4, this happened. And if the parent wasn't there to support me in the moment, or love me in the moment, or accept me in the moment, then we create those patterns that are dealing with us. But yeah, I had a safe childhood, happy one overall, a good one.
Okay. What did you do after high school?
I got married after high school. I got married very early. I worked for a year as a personal assistant, but I got married very early and stayed home with kids. So that was basically my second half of my life, was stay home mom and a wife. And so, yeah, my career was not really anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said that in your 30s it was that you decided to start healing.
Yeah.
What led to that point? Like, did you just wake up one day and be like, oh, I got to heal from some things, or?
I think there's always a person that comes to you somehow that kind of sparks that need in you, or that want or desire. And for me, that was actually my daughter, because she was diagnosed with ADD, and we started going to psychiatrist and then therapy and all that. And going through therapy, actually, with her, healing her, I actually started to learn about my own issues. And I just fell in love with the whole healing part of therapy. But I always knew, okay, this is talk therapy, this is great, and it works to a certain level, to a certain point. But I just dove way deep into it, and the more I was open to healing, I had people come to my life that opened the door to energy healing, to spiritual healing, to shamanism, to plant medicine, to Reiki. So the more you learn, the more you're open to it, and it just you just attract your teachers. They just appear like, oh, it's not a coincidence. Oh my gosh, how did we meet? Or no, it's just we were at the right place for our teachers. When we're ready, right, the teachers will come.
So you said we attract our teachers? Okay. So how things work in mysterious ways? All right. And what have you been able to learn about ADD and ADHD for your children? And if you don't mind sharing.
It's a huge struggle, and you really don't know until you either get you have it yourself or someone close, like friends, family. It's a huge struggle. I don't envy them because now I see how hard it was for them to grow up, learning, just even behavioral stuff. So I just wish I knew this when they were little and I could learn before I was raising them a certain way, not knowing,
Okay, can you explain what is the best way that you've learned to raise a child that has it?
I just need to, first, I learned that I have to accept who they are, and it's not their fault that they can't do certain things. They just can't do it. And so first of all, I accept it. I look at it like, okay, this is not on purpose. It's not in spite. It's not because I said something is white, they'll say it's black. It's just their brains work differently. So acceptance and then working with them in different ways to help them. Because we're on their team, right? We want them to learn. We want them to control their behaviors and express their emotions in a healthy way. We want them to be allowed that too. And that just comes with the parents a lot of times have to heal themselves too, to be able to show up. Because they trigger us in an enormous way. ADD kids, enormously they trigger us because there's so many different little things that they do differently that it just, as a young mom, wanted to have everything perfect. My firstborn had to be perfect, right? Because I was 22, I'm like, my kid's gotta be perfect, so I know what I'm doing. No, and so, my healing also helped her because I was accepting, I wasn't critical, and I helped her learn in her way, explain to her that that's not her fault, she's not different, it's different, but it's like, it's actually a phenomenal thing, because the less they have in certain ability to learn, do certain things on time, then they have a crazy gift in another way. Because God always balances things, right? So they're gifted, they're wonderful kids, they're sensitive,
Okay.
just deep.
And so you said your daughter led you to healing. How was that journey for you? Like, how was it to recognize oh, I have childhood trauma that I didn't even know existed?
Yeah. It was rough. It was hard because it was for me it was at the same time as healing my child. I had to heal myself, so it was like I had to navigate both ways, both things at the same time. But it was also liberating. Every time you recognize something deep with it, and you're like, oh. You just make peace with it and let it go, or just heal that part, accept it, and little by little you start loving yourself more and understanding, going through all of this actually made you who you are now. But healing that is going to elevate you. So as much as it was rough and painful at times, very liberating because we're free and sovereign, and we can claim it.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Can you walk me through the steps of how you started to heal and what you did? Did you go to traditional talk therapy, or did you just dive right into did you heal?
So first talk therapy, and then tons of books that our wonderful therapists recommended, and so I educated myself, and then I went to a shaman multiple times, and we did hypnosis, and then I went to my Reiki master that worked on my energetic level. So all of this I did, but then I signed up because I knew this helped me tremendously, and I had the calling to be there for other people that are going through the same thing, and maybe navigate them a little bit so it's quicker, less painful when they're ready, you know. So I did a online program for women, and that brought me tremendous healing just in the feminine side of me. And then I signed up for another one that was actually training me to be a mentor and to do psychosomatic therapy and work. And that took a good part of a year and a lot of practice and reading again, all kinds of books and educating myself.
Okay. How did you, I guess, how do you heal yourself or cope with things yourself, but you can't do that to help your daughter heal and cope? What are the different tools you use versus the tools you use to help raise your daughter?
Everybody is a little bit different. So for me, what works for me maybe doesn't work for her. So we're a little bit different because everybody is different. She loves talk therapy and processing her traumas in that way. I do more of the psychosomatic. Like I know that my traumas are within my body, so I work with energy and with my body movement, expressing, letting go vocally or so I don't quite know if I understood the question.
I don't know if I asked it correctly.
Yeah.
I was just trying to ask, like you said, everybody's different. So like, what works for you that you notice doesn't work for your daughter, right? Like I feel like I do VA's prescribed or diagnosed me with ADHD, right? So, but I'm also raising kids, and I'm sure a couple of them have ADD, but I'm just trying to learn. I'm trying to pick your brain.
It's hereditary, so yeah, most likely they will have it. I just think that they're so individual, and just because somebody has ADD doesn't mean that it's universal and you treat them this way, or they're still very individual. Although they have a lot of very similar things that I couldn't pinpoint today. If somebody tells me what symptoms they have or how they behave, it's that noticeable. And once you live it for so many years, you just know. But it's still different for them. Somebody, like my daughter really loves when she has a schedule that we stick to, then she sticks to it. But she's not a morning person. And my other daughter is a morning person. So, everybody's still different, and you have to work with that child. And I have two, and they both have ADD. And I raise them differently. And sometimes they're a little bit upset with that because, but you have to, because it's not a formula that you can apply to every kid. And so once you connect with that particular kid and you know what works for them, then you just work that. That makes sense.
That makes sense. And I'm going to ask the same question in a different way for the last time.
Okay.
What would you tell your younger self when your kids were younger on how to treat them, raise them, and how you need to act in order to be the best for them?
Right. So, absolutely. I wish I knew this when I was younger, because I would tell myself, okay, calm down first. Get down to the floor with them. Eye contact, connection. No criticism, acceptance, and trying to work with them. Ask them, what do you need? How can we make this better? How can we make this better? or what do you think would work better? Really ask them a lot of questions. What works for them, and just accept them for who they are, and praise them, and love them unconditionally.
Okay.
And if they spill, it's an accident. They didn't mean it. It's just little things, but when you put them together, it's just that could be traumatic for them when they spill. If the parent doesn't react properly. So it's so complex and there's so much. I would probably say read a lot of books about it and educate yourself. But since you have ADD, you must understand, right? A lot of the things that the kids would do.
I guess I'm trying to learn how to teach my wife to treat me.
Right.
Not that she's treating me wrong or that right, but like, and I guess at the same time she probably has ADD too or something. So I just like to learn new tidbits and tricks, and like what you do, I'll take little parts that I like or don't like, and I'll adjust it into my way of life so I can continue to grow. So I like to learn. Like this podcast, as much as I say it's to help other people, it's to save myself at the same time. So
for sure.
I just like to take the knowledge. And I'm nowhere near perfect, so I can always grow.
We're not. We're still learning and we'll still grow, and we're never done, never finished. The consciousness is huge, and we're just climbing up the ladder. And so my husband has ADD too. I have three. I have 2 kids and a husband. And since I've learned about all of this, we get along better. When I was young, and I couldn't understand why he's never on time. Like, to me, that was almost insulting, right? Like, you don't care. Why aren't you showing up on time? Why are we late? Constantly. Well, today, I let go. I'm like, well, then we're going to be late. I just let that go. I can't be upset over, that's his core. That's who he is. And it's not his fault. It's his brain that just operates a million miles an hour. I tell him, your brain is a Ferrari, mine is a Toyota. I can't understand you sometimes. It's just acceptance. It's just first understanding. So you can't really accept something you don't really understand. But once you learn, you accept the person. This is how they operate. And help them really, like, instead of criticizing them for something they can't control, try to help them. Try to figure out a way how to do things differently so you help them, and so you get to the solution somehow together, or that kind of stuff.
That's a great point. How do you put your emotions, your frustrations aside? Is by accepting it, right? So does that mean in order for you to be able to do that easier, you had to educate yourself more on it and just get a complete understanding of why he is the way he is, or the way your kids are, is because of their ADD or whatever the case may be. So knowledge.
Yeah, it's the knowledge, and it's also, though, like my own healing. Like, I'm not as short-tempered anymore. Like, I can be triggered, and now I know what to do. It's not to yell. It's not to throw things or slam the door, for the most part. I still do that once in a while. We're humans. But for the most part, it's just take a deep breath. You connect with your breath. And instead of reacting, you're just going to pause and then respond. So you're just going to repeat that all the time. Take a breath. Take a pause. Don't react. And then respond. After you've been able to process it with your brain, not your emotion, then you can respond better. Like over a spilled, like I keep saying this example, but I was terrible with this when the kids were little and they would spill. Worst thing in the world for me, spilled. So my trigger immediately was a reaction, right? I started yelling and like shaming them for it. Like, what are you doing? Can't you be careful? I don't know, all kinds of things. And yeah, it's happened so many times over and over. And once you start training yourself, Okay, take a breath and pause. It's just spilled. It's not end of the world. So grab a paper towel, take a couple breaths, and say, it's okay, it's an accident. Even though, your emotions and you're triggered, you still say those words, like it's an accident. And then, it's just gonna happen, and it goes away. And you're like, oh my gosh, it just went away. No big deal. And the kid is happy instead of crying that they did something wrong and now the parent doesn't love them because they spilled.
Yeah. And trying not to match their energy, to control their energy. Like, what's that?
Yeah.
How do you expect that to help? But I'm guilty of that too, and I've been recognizing that more and more the past couple of weeks, and I'm trying really hard to stay calm in that. How are you able to manage your self-healing while trying to heal and take care of your kids?
There's a lot of crying. Like I would go to the room, to our bedroom, and just put my face in a pillow and just cry. Just let it out. Let it out. And, I've been to a lot of aesthetic dances where you just dance and just get the energy out of, or in a shower. This is a great one. And you just get yourself in a shower and you just shake your arms, shake your legs, and then you just literally like rub the energy out of and just let it out, the bad energy. And the water, just can you imagine the water is washing all the bad stuff away, and you look at it down the drain. Because our thoughts can influence our emotions, our energy. And so if you're looking at something going away and you start believing that's going away, then it'll be gone.
Right. When I was in Boston for the 2-week mental health course I went through, one of the meditations or guided talks we had is there's envision your thoughts were on a leaf floating down a river. Mm-hmm. That's okay. Let them pass you and just let them keep going and don't even pay attention to it. So when you said that, and that's what I reference, or what I think about when I try to let my thoughts go.
Yeah.
But it's real hard because I see it on my peripherals and I want to look at it and I want to bring it back in, but then I just feed into it, and the next thing I know I'm spiraling and my mood has changed and I'm just in your opinion, what can a spouse do to help support you while you're healing and going through it?
I think sometimes it's just to be there. It doesn't have to be any words, or just to give hugs, just to hold the space, not having to just hear it out. Because I wanted to share a lot with my husband when I was going through every single issue I would in my course, because we had to train on ourselves, so we dug up a lot of stuff. So I would tell him about, oh my gosh, I finally know why I'm doing this, and I would tell him, and I just needed him to hear it and be there for me. I didn't need a lecture, or I didn't need pity, or I just need to be there and understand that I'm going through something. If I'm sometimes I still have bad couple days. I just want to stay in bed and not do anything. And I tell him this is how I'm feeling, and then it's okay. I'm working on it, and he trusts me. I'll get over it. And he said, it's okay, honey. I'll take your time.
Okay. Yeah, because that's something hard for me. Because when my wife tells me something, I never know how to properly respond. And I know this is where her and I communication comes in, where we need to talk more. But I just want to give her the answer or the solution, my solution to her problem. Yeah. But she wasn't even looking for a solution. She was just looking to talk. Yes. But the way I perceived it is yeah, let me help you.
Because you're a man,
and it causes it worse
for her.
Yeah.
And so I would give you a little tip, if she's sharing something, you ask her, honey, I hear you, and what do you need from me right now? Do you need a hug? Do you need me to fix it? Do you need me just to hear it? And she'll tell you, today I really need just a hug. And sometimes she'll be like, no, I need you to fix it. It's too much for me. I need you to hug. But sometimes we just need that presence, because when we're so close, we have that connection and that energy. It just, once you share something, it it heals, just letting go. If you know the person's there, present with you, for you, and that's all sometimes women want. We just want to about something, and for you just to hear it. You don't have to.
Well, I'm glad you said that and
Yeah.
not me. So I'll just listen.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll work on asking her more what she
Do
needs.
what she needs. Just ask her, what do you need from me right now, honey? And not in a like a smart ass way. It's just genuine. Like, I want to do the right thing, and I need you to tell me.
Right.
And over time, you will know. Just from her energy, from her look, you'll know she needs a hug, or you'll feel like, okay, she needs a little more.
Okay.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, but as you heal, you will be more available for her emotionally too. So she will be safe to be saying more and to, because she'll trust that you'll handle it. You won't react. You'll just be there. And that creates a deeper connection and safety.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. So let's get into the energy. When you first started that, you said you wanted to talk therapy first, and then you started to do energy. Did you always have an interest in like the energy portion of it, or is it something you learned through talk therapy, or you just felt like talk therapy wasn't enough? There's something that got you to a level, but then there's more.
Yeah, I always knew there was more. And simultaneously almost it's like my shaman that I went to, she worked energetically on me, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like I can feel energy, which I didn't before. I didn't realize I'm feeling energy. And then I was doing psychosomatic work, which is talk and like letting the person work their body and their energy. I wasn't touching. I wasn't doing it, but I always felt like my hands. I felt the energy in my hands, and I knew I needed more. I needed to do more, and so that's why I got trained in Reiki.
Can you explain Reiki?
It's basically, I am not giving you my energy. You don't want that, and I wouldn't give it, right? I have to preserve my own. So I am not a healer. I am just the middle. My hands are just a sword, not swords. Because Reiki is healing power from God. It's energy. It's healing energy from light source. Universe, whatever whoever believes in God. I believe in God, so to me that's healing energy from God. But it comes. I receive it, and then through my hands, I send it forward to.
How do you preserve not taking on? Like, I'm sure. So you've done a session on me before, and how do you not take on what I would say or somebody else would say? Like, how do you keep that energy, or like, how do you not allow that to take on? Because listening to somebody else's problems can be draining. Like, you want to be there for them, and you support them, and you want them to talk to you, but it can get draining, and it can pull down on you. How do you keep that off of you?
I'm an empath too, so like I just pick up. Sometimes I feel people's emotions before they open their mouth, and so I have to be consciously protecting myself from energy. And there's ways that I can do that. Just energetically creating a field around me that nothing can really get me, or self-care. If I do have a lot of people coming through with problems, I know that once in a while I have to go to my Reiki master to get cleared. I have to meditate more. I have to clear myself more. And literally, what I said in the shower, it's what I do. I just shake the energy out, I just pull it out of my hands, and I just let it go down the drain. So stuff like this, yeah, definitely.
How often do you go to your master? That sounded weird, sorry. Your Reiki master, or whatever you do for yourself?
I go to her probably once a month or every 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what you need to work good for you.
That's what she wants.
Oh, okay.
But no, that's it. Um, yeah. Yeah, I think that's sometimes I feel like I don't even have to go, but I kind of have to because I'm her student, so she needs to make sure that I am, well too. And then, I come there and all of a sudden there was stuff to take care of. So, sometimes we think we're fine, but we're not.
Yeah, there's a lot of times. Well, I don't know if this is the same, but there was a lot of times when I was going to therapy that I did not want to go. Like whether because I just didn't want to deal with it anymore, or like I felt like I was good. But then you go there, and at first it's a little hard to start talking, and then all of a sudden like it's almost like diarrhea of the mouth. You just keep going and going and going, and you're like, well, I needed this today.
Yeah, sometimes I don't want to go to her because I know she'll kick my ass.
Yeah.
Because I know there's something. I've been pushing it away because I don't have time to process it right now. It's just painful, or it's and so I don't want to go sometimes, but I know I have to.
So honestly, that's part of the reason I never made it out to our second session is because I feel so stressed that I just don't want to add on to it right now. But I also know to feel not so stressed, I need it. But it was just one of those things where, and it also was like out of sight, out of mind. Like as soon as I saw you post on Instagram or you messaged me or something, I was like, oh crap. But then like I would just forget, and it wasn't intentional. Like I didn't mean to forget. Like I want to go, I want to heal. Like there's something, there's something more. I need to break through.
Don't worry about it. Healing can't be pushed. Like I can call you and push you. Come on, where is this going? You gotta come. But I believe if you need me, you'll come.
When
You're
the
ready.
time's right.
When the time's right. Yeah. And it's different when my reiki calls me. You need to come. Like I come. She can make me come, but we've been, oh my gosh, it's been years with her, so she knows me well enough. But if it's a new person, I never push. Like that resonate with me. I wouldn't push people to come.
Yeah. That's almost what I need, but then if you push too much, I'll just be like, can you just...
Yeah.
Now I have anxiety waiting for you to text me and have to come up with an excuse
Right.
or a reason.
Yeah, no.
So, can you tell me about your business?
I have a studio in Scottsdale that I opened a year and a half ago because I needed space for. I also do women's circles, which is just gathering of women, having a safe space for them to share whatever they need to share and just feel like there's no judgment and or just sisterhood kind of. And we used to meet in a park, and then I would burn candles. And then we had fire department show up one day, and so I'm like, okay, we need a space inside. I opened a studio, and that's where I do full moon meditations where people come in and we do a ceremony, and then like clients would just come for Reiki or for whatever they need. Like I have no modalities, but it's up to you, like what works with you best. Somebody just wants to talk.
Okay. And how did you get into meditating?
That's a part of it. I think that's part of spiritual healing. It's just you need to get your mind. It's good for you. Just to get in contact with your mind and your body and learn how to let go of some thoughts. And meditation doesn't have to be sitting there in a quiet like a monk for hours, right? It could be just 2 minutes outside. Oh my gosh, I have a couple minutes. I'm gonna run outside and just sit with me and listen to the birds. It can be short like that several times a day, and then that's meditation too. Or knitting. I used to knit all the time because that is mindless, almost like you know what you're doing. Your hands are doing it. And your mind will wander sometimes. But for me, that was meditation. It was super calming for me. And so there's different ways.
Did you get into it? Were you into meditation before you started to heal, or was it?
No.
Okay. And then how? Did it come easy to you to meditate at first?
Still doesn't come easy.
Okay.
I have the thoughts, right? And then you have to let them go on a cloud or leave, whatever your technique is. I always come down to just one. I would say one. Because when you either breathing, you get to a breathing, and when you counter breathing and stuff, you can't be thinking about something else. So either breathing or I repeat one to myself in my mind. One. This will one. So that works for me. But I just like, or I like guided meditations. If you can't get your thoughts away enough to feel like feeling good about meditating, just do guided meditations. Just put it in your ears and listen to it.
Yeah, because it is hard for me sometimes to like just sit down and stop thinking. I feel like I'm always supposed to be thinking, but apparently you're not. My brain just goes 1,000 miles a minute, I feel like.
Yeah, and especially for ADD person, you have much more thoughts than I do. And it's not hard for me. Like, there's always thoughts. Like, it's hard not to have it.
Yeah. Like
So
my thoughts are on
guided
top of thoughts.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this makes sense to you, but sometimes I feel like I'm not my body, or my mind and body are separate. It's like I'm the back portion of my brain just watching everything, and like my body's just here. Like my mind and body, soul, how does it go? They're not connected.
Yeah, you're dissociating a lot.
Yeah,
That means that you have a lot of trauma in your body.
that's exciting. So not to ask like a stupid question, but trauma in your body, does that mean like abuse, like trauma, like I've hit myself,
No,
or I've
not
been hit?
physical.
Okay, physical. It's
No.
not physical
No,
abuse
emotional.
or trauma. Okay.
Yeah, because we think that trauma is in your head. You remember the memory of something, somebody telling you something bad or something, witnessing something bad, right? You think it's a memory. Well, that trauma actually, in the moment of the trauma, your body created neural pathways. And it's stored in body. I read this phenomenal book. I forgot what it's called. Body keeps the score. And it's a phenomenal book. It explains everything really clearly that, yeah, your trauma could be in any organ, it could be in your bones, it could be in your right leg, left leg. It's stuck there energetically and also neurologically in your nerves. So, we need to learn how to release that. And you can't until you. That's why I was asking you so many questions when we had the session. Like, what do you feel? Like, is there a sensation in your body? Because your body speaks to you when you ask it, and you can find, certain traumas where they're stored, and then you can work on releasing them from that body part.
I want to say, is there like a way to heal without doing energy healing to heal your body? Or do you have to go through energy healing to heal?
It doesn't have to be energy healing. It could be EMDR. Have you heard of EMDR therapy?
I believe so, but
It's the eye movement therapy.
Can you explain it the best you can?
The best I can. It works really well for my daughter. She loved it. She had a few sessions, and she was able to get a lot of her traumas processed. So there's this. I don't even know the name of the doctor. Years ago, he found out that when the eye there's an eye movement, and when you talk about the trauma in therapy and they do that eye thing, it actually processes and releases.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not good at explaining it. I'm
Okay.
sorry. But you can look it up. It's EMDR. And it's phenomenal. It works for a lot of people, a lot of veterans, and a lot of PTSD. Yeah.
So do you mind if I ask about your daughter real quick?
No, it's fine.
Okay, so what you're saying is when your daughter went through it, they would ask her a question or they would work on something, and then she had to do a certain eye movement routine,
Yeah.
and then it would help the body process through it. Okay, that's interesting.
I've never actually sat with her in the session because it's very private, and she didn't want me there, and I didn't want to be there. That was her trauma. There's, I think the therapist can do it with her fingers, like in a certain way in front of the eyes. But she had a machine in her office to do that.
Okay. And then you also mentioned that you did hypnotherapy. Could you walk me through like one of the sessions without saying too much?
Sure. It was fantastic. I felt it wasn't really hypnotherapy like I was aware, but she put me in theta waves. My brain were in theta, which means it's programming. It's like right before you go to sleep, or right after you wake up, you're like half dreaming, but you're awake, and your brain is in theta waves, and that's when you can manifest and you can reprogram, rewire your brain. So I was laying down, and it was like a meditation, like a guided meditation. She would talk to me that I'm walking on the beach and you're imagining everything, right? Visualizing it. And then she would count, and then, prior to that actually, because she says, okay, so you need to reprogram your brain. So how do you want it to be? How do you want your life to be? What do you want to do in life, or my goals, So we talked about that first. And then she put me into this state. I was laying down, I was covered with a blanket, I was comfortable. And then she would tell me that as a story of what I wanted. She would tell me that as a story. And I in those, when your brain is in those waves, it's like it's recorded in there.
Okay.
So it kind of reprogrammed my brain into, this is what you want, and this is how universe works, that it'll happen for you. So, and then I just, then she counted up again, and I woke up, and that was it. Not most of it happened yet, but I feel my life was elevated since then, towards my goals and towards my my purpose.
If I'm understanding this correctly, she's kind of like manifesting your future that you told her by telling you while your brain's in a certain zone, like this is what's going to happen, this is how it's going to happen, and so on, and then you just go on and live your life more trajectory towards that.
Yeah, unconsciously.
Okay.
It's because we can't. We're living our life most of the day is subconscious.
Like we're just doing muscle memory.
You're doing stuff that it's in your subconscious that you know, like that's why every day is like the same all the time, right? Your thoughts keep being the same. So you have to reprogram your subconscious so your life changes. It's not going to change consciously, so it needs to be the subconscious, and that's how the hypnosis would. They have to enter that subconscious in your brain to put the seed in there, because the subconscious is connected to God, and that's how things happen for you and unfold in the way you want it subconsciously. That's why it's also good to listen to positive affirmations before you go to sleep, or doze off, or sleep because your brain records that.
Okay.
To put that positive into your subconscious.
Yes, I actually started to listen to sounds when I go to sleep that YouTube tells me therefore to decompress, let go of stress and anger and that.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I wake up in the morning, unless it's still playing, I don't remember I did anything, or I listened to it. But then I can tell you the nights that I did not listen to it, I woke up in a different mood, and it was usually more angry or grumpy or just more tired even.
Yeah, it definitely works. The before sleep is so powerful, or right when you wake up, But going to sleep, you can control like what you're gonna put on. Like they say, don't sleep with the TV on, especially the news, because that's just programming your subconscious. So you really want to make sure that if you put something on, it's something positive or sounds frequency, higher frequency. So you elevate your subconscious.
Okay, I have a question, and I don't want to sound ignorant or rude, right? So, energy healing and that, like, you have to believe in it. Well, you don't have to believe in it, but it's kind of, to me, I want to almost relate it to, like, your belief in God, where, like, you can't, per se, prove it, but you have to just believe and feel it, right? How do you feel that since did you believe in God when you started healing, or did it be something?
Yes, I always do.
So do you feel like it was because you believed in God, you were able to believe more into the energy healing and the hypnosis because you're already giving that blind faith to something higher?
It could be explained in this way, yeah. It's hard for people that don't believe anything spiritual, and they can't feel energy to believe in it. Just tell them, right? There's people that they'll only believe scientifically proven things, or So you're probably right. Yeah, that you can believe in this automatically almost when you're a spiritual person, because you know how that works. It's energy. Everything is energy. Everything. When you cut down to the molecules, to the atoms, there's nothing to them. After you put them together, there is. But it's only energy.
Okay. Do you feel that spirituality plays a role in your health and your mental health?
Absolutely.
Do you feel that the further away you are from spirituality, potentially worse your mental health could be? And then the closer you are spiritually, the better you can mentally? Okay.
Yeah, I do. And it doesn't have to be believing in God, right? Everybody's different. Like, a lot of people say universe or energy or light source or, but believe in something that we know there's something more than just matter.
Okay. So yeah, all right. I'm just trying to process in my brain, but yeah, you have to believe in something, whether it's God to aliens or something. But you just have to believe in something that you can't potentially prove in a sense.
You don't have to. It's a tricky question, Josh.
Well, I'm asking your opinion, and for you
know,
personally.
yeah.
So I do get that it is a tricky question because I'm kind of like tiptoeing around how I word it too. So I'm sorry putting you on the hot seat.
No, it's fine. It's just I never really thought of it that way. So I have to figure out what I'm actually thinking about.
And do you ever bring the two together, whether it's like meditation, hypnotherapy, reiki, and religion or spirituality? Do those two ever go hand in hand in a session?
For me, yes, but I don't push that. Like if somebody, frankly, I have not had a client that doesn't believe in God or something higher. So I don't think I would even attract a client like that. If nobody, I guess if you don't believe in anything higher or energy, then you wouldn't go to me.
Okay.
Then you
So
wouldn't
guys
seek
want
this
an
kind of
intervention.
healing. You would probably go to a psychiatrist if you knew something was going on. But you probably wouldn't,
Okay, I get it.
that's what I'm trying to figure. I guess that's how that would work.
Okay. And then, yeah. Do you ever do sessions that like you bring spirituality into it?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
And how do those work?
Well, I just always like to light a candle, as you know. And I have my angel statues. And I even work with crystals and tarot cards. So I kind of try to open the session always with talk first, and to kind of find out where people are and what they need and what would work for them better. And But for me, it is. It's always through God that we heal, and I'm guided, by angels and.
With you saying that, you said that you're healed through God, through your subconscious, and that was the first time I've ever heard that. And for some reason, it like really clicked. Like, okay, I can see like because you don't know your I feel like I don't know my subconscious per se. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's always on and always growing, but like I don't know what's going to come from my subconscious in a sense. So it just makes sense. Like, because you can't prove your subconscious, but you know it's there.
Those are your programs, yeah. That's because you don't consciously, when something triggers you, you don't consciously react. Because your conscious will be like, you can't react. It's not right to react. Your conscious would know that. No, it's your subconscious.
So when you get triggered and you react, you're reacting out of self-conscious and like you're just triggered.
Mm-hmm,
so
you're triggered.
Going.
You can't control it, so that's your subconscious. So you have to get almost to your conscious, like, okay, that's why the pause will happen, the breathing, and then you break the pattern. You want to break the pattern that the subconscious is telling your body to do.
Okay.
So you get a switch into your conscious, and then like from that space, respond, not react.
And how would you recommend to ground yourself? Like, do you think it's good to go outside without socks and shoes on?
I was just gonna say, the more we bring ourselves to consciousness, the less your programs are gonna be running, because if you're conscious, you can't be subconscious, right? So what I'm trying to say, like, as many times a day as you can, just bring your consciousness, the grounding, or breathing, or consciously do something that you know you're doing consciously. Like, even if you're used to putting on right shoe first, do the other one, because that's not your subconscious. That would be your conscious. Switching it up, making the brain works in a different way, because then you will be running your life more from the conscious state, where you can control things.
So a way of bringing yourself to the conscious is like sometimes when I'm feeling like anxious and nervous, I'll start counting, like going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
And that's doing something consciously, so it's pulling me back out of my subconscious. And would all of our anxiety and depression and all of that, is that in our subconscious or is that in our conscious?
Subconscious.
Okay. Because I'm not consciously trying to be depressed or anxious, So
no, it is. Yeah, it's all of those programs and hurts that our body carries. The outside grounding is phenomenal. Like, if you have grass or any like natural material, just take off your shoes, put your bare feet down, or lay down even. Like, lay down and just literally feel Mother Earth just grounding you and pulling all of the bad energy out. Just let it go into. Like, I lay on the ground sometimes, and I consciously feel or envision. Sometimes it's hard to feel everything, right? So if you can't feel it yet, you'll get there, but you can visualize things. And so you visualize how you can almost grow roots from your feet through the rocks and through the dirt down into the earth, and that will totally ground you and pull everything. Or like if you feel something negative, you can just even say it out loud, like, Mother Earth, just take this from me, I'm giving it to you, you'll take care of it.
That's kind of how I pray, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Well, I believe I don't know if there's a correct way or a wrong way to pray. Like, sometimes I am very judgmental of myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can I always come to you and release my problems in that? But yeah, I try to say like, oh, I'm bringing you my anger over this, or my anger, my stress, my blah, 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 blah. Like, I am bestowing it at your feet. It no longer serves me. And like, I feel like it's hard for me. because it feels like it's just like a scapegoat. Like, oh, here you go. Let me just drop off the kids and run, But I don't want that anymore, so we'll just continue
Just
to
let it go.
work on it until I feel the improvement.
Yeah.
And if somebody wanted to learn more about Reiki or energy healing, like what would you recommend people to start? How would you recommend people to start?
Well, there's plenty to read about, but I think the best is just to come and experience it.
Okay. And how can people find you if they want to ask you questions or come through a session?
I have a website, lovedoom.life,
Okay.
where there's all information, or they can always call me on my number. I'm always available.
And I'm going to start wrapping this up. Is there any saved rounds, anything I missed that you would like to talk about?
Oh, I think it's already over. That went fast. No, I think we had a great talk.
If you have more to talk about, we can keep talking, but
I mean, I don't know right now, but it's just like, it's been wonderful. I love talking about it because it just, when we go day to day and we just do our stuff, we don't realize sometimes the impact we can have, or the purpose, or sometimes it's like you're just doing the same stuff, not consciously realizing how much I've actually grown and how much I know and I can share, until I sit with someone and I just kind of put it all together. I'm like, wow, I actually have stuff to talk about. It's awesome.
I kind of feel that way right now myself, right? Like I feel like I'm doing the same thing day in and day out, and I feel like I'm not growing, or I feel stuck. I feel like I'm not doing anything, right? And like I want to be like, well, I'm not successful. All my negative self-talk and intrusive thoughts come in, where like I'm what am I doing? Like I'm recording a podcast, but am I even helping anybody? Am I making changes? Am I growing? And it makes me just want to be like, all right, I'm done. But I feel like it's just getting hard right now because good things are right there and they're within reach. And I'm going through one of my final tests. Like, am I going to have the fortitude to continue to go, the perseverance to keep pushing through? Or am I just going to resort back to my old self, and when things get hard, I just quit and find something new? But I'm tired of that pattern, I'm tired of that routine, and I'm just going to cry through this stress and make it through the other side.
Absolutely. You have my support.
I appreciate
We
that.
clicked so well when we
Right.
first met. I'm like, this guy is awesome.
Thank you.
And just keep writing.
What are some positive self-talk or affirmations that you say to yourself? Do you do things daily on that?
Oh, I wish I did. I should.
I feel like we all should.
We all should. I usually, it's like praying, right? You pray when you need it.
Right.
So I talk to myself when
When
shit
you need it.
and
How do you allow yourself not to like pick on yourself? Like, dude, you only come to me when you need it, right? Like, I'm here all the time, but you only need me when you need me. Like, how do you? Because I'll talk bad about myself then too. Like I'll always find a way to pick on myself.
yeah. I don't really. I was fortunate enough to, as traumas as I had some, I always had a decent self-love.
Okay.
And this was heartbreaking for me when my daughter asked me a while ago, she says, Mom, you never wanted to kill yourself? And I was just like, no. Like, I can honestly say I'm never not wanting to be here. And it was heartbreaking because she's had those thoughts. And she says, oh, Mom, thank you for telling me, because I thought everybody has those feelings. And so to her, it gave her hope that she doesn't have to think that. That it's not normal to think that. Like, there's people that don't have those urges or thoughts, right? So I'm lucky in that way that I do have self-respect and self-love. But do I screw up and upset with me? Like, yeah, I still do that.
I think we're human, right?
Like, we're humans, and but for the most part, I honor my body, my mind, and my soul, and I know I'm God's child, and there's nothing wrong with me.
Well, that's an amazing outlook, and I'm glad you have that.
Thank you.
Now, if you could pass that energy over here.
I am sending it to you.
Got it. Thank
Receive
you.
it. Yeah, and if you just say that sometimes, just repeat saying something, and eventually it'll stay. You'll feel.
I keep going through these days where I'll remember to tell myself I love myself multiple times in the mirror. It just doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel. I feel like I know my bullshit.
Yeah,
you know?
I actually, it's in a different subject, not self-love, but I have the same thing where I keep telling myself something. I'm like, it's total bullshit. Like, I don't believe this, actually.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until recently that I was learning more about manifestation. And because before I would do these affirmations, right? Like, for example, I'm going to say, I want a new car, or whatever. Yeah, I want something. I want a new car. And so I would be like saying that, I'm getting a new car, I'm getting a new car. I'm like, it's bullshit, I'm not getting a new car. Like, I don't believe that. I'm just saying it.
Right.
But it's not real. It's until that manifestation, but not course. I just learned some new stuff about it, and I'm like, it's not until you really start to be or feel like it's already happened is when this is hard to explain. When you actually start believing like, oh, this is actually, I think this is true. This is real.
Right. So I believe what you're saying is like you have to believe it's true now before the manifestation will actually work,
Yeah.
right? So like me saying I'm a millionaire already, like I don't believe that shit.
Right.
So like it's not gonna happen until I start believing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it starts with, like, of course, we can't give ourselves these huge manifestation goals like a millionaire, right? But you can start small and excuse me. Because when this was funny. I heard something and I think it's so awesome. When you go to a restaurant and you order something, you know you're getting that, right? There's no way you're not.
Right.
Well, in the same way, almost, you order things.
Okay.
And you must already feel like, oh, I'm getting it because I ordered it.
Okay.
So you'll live in the end. And then God will bring it to you. Because that's how you vibrate. You believe it.
And how were you able, for your example, to start believing that you were going to get a new car? Did you start looking for them?
No, I actually just knew, like before I went to sleep in that theta waves, right? I would be saying, I'm getting a new car. I already have a new car. And it's just like, I know it's gonna come to me because I ordered it. Like, I put it out there. This is what I want. This is my desire, and I'm allowed to have the desire. Because that's how God speaks to me, is in desire. Because if God wants, like, He has a plan for us, and He'll put His desire in your heart, it's already done. So if I'm desiring something, it's already done. I just have to reach for it. I just have to believe I have it. And then it'll be delivered.
Okay. So, for example, for me, I have this gala coming up, right? And it's stressing me out.
Yeah.
You know, just throwing an event does. I just got to believe I'm already successful and it's already happened, and now I'm on to the next. And, you know, that way the gala's successful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start looking at it like that then. Because the sooner I'm done with this event, the happier I'll be.
Yes.
Because I just got to prove myself.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And it's actually just holding myself accountable to my words, right? Like, I know I'm capable of all these things. And I talk about them, but I haven't been about them. Mm-hmm. But now I am, right? Like, I'm recording in a dispensary lobby.
Yeah, you are.
Like, and then I'm throwing in it's crazy.
It's crazy.
I never pictured my life to be this way. Especially because my dad's a retired cop and he still like it has the stigma towards cannabis, and it's just wild. I was the good kid growing up too, so it's like I've never been here, but I am, and I'm grateful because I get to learn and meet new people, and I get to help myself while helping others. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Just live as knowing you are a person that does great galas. To that person, and when you live like that person, there's no way it can't happen.
Right. All right.
Just try to feel like it's already happened.
I'm just gonna start wearing suits every day.
Yeah.
Make myself look presentable. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
my
I
God,
really
thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
I always enjoy talking to you, and I will get back out there to have another session before the gala. So in a
Which
month.
is coming up.
Yes. So within a month I'll be there.
Okay.
All right.
Fantastic. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Oh,
having me.
yeah. I make everybody stand up and give me a hug if you don't mind.
Of course.